Oh, hello, people. Happy 7:32 p.m. I made a mistake, so I had to recreate this live stream for anyone who is watching this later. But it wouldn't matter because if you were waiting, you would know. Anyway, sorry for the mistake. I accidentally I my camera wasn't set up properly, so I had to like start a new one. Anyway, welcome to the live stream, and sorry for the technical difficulties and having to create another stream. Today's live stream topic for this Wednesday, March 6th, 2019, is that you are not your bad days. And I think, in a way, sometimes I make these live streams as a reminder to myself. Today was not the hottest day for me. I was not super productive. I had a few things that kind of threw me off a little bit. And I just like I guess like a reminder to myself and to you that we are not our bad days. So if you feel like, in a way, that you know who you are as a person is dependent on um how you perform today, know that you are not your bad days, you are not your grades, you are not the rejections, you're not the failures. And I almost want to say, if that's the truth for the negative things, or quote unquote negative things, I would almost want to say that's the truth for the positive things as well. So if you are not your grades, if you are not your failures, if you are not all of those things, would that mean that we're also not our successes, that we're also not our achievements? And I would almost say yes. This is a conversation that we could have. Anyway, yes. So here's my thought on this. I was reflecting on this thought, this idea that um hold on. I feel like I hopefully people, is it easy to figure out that I changed the live stream video link? I just want to make sure because that was pretty last minute and I didn't make any announcements. What I will do is I will post very quickly on Discord that the video link changed. Copy link address. And boom. Okay, cool. So it's posted. We're live. What's up? What's up, Juicy Goosey, Russian, Sangavi, Nathan Kim, John, Sports Gods 47. What's up? Nathan says, bro, this seems like the perfect video for me today. Charlene Wang, good to see you on. Knuckles, good to see you on as well. Juicy Goosey says, I got some questions for you when you're done with a topic. Feel free to ask the questions and I will answer them once I get to them. All right. So yeah, I do want to talk about like who are we? Who are we not are we not our bad days? Are we not our good days? Then who are we? And I think back then, I used to think that I was my failures. I used to think that I was my F in my pre-algebra class, or I was the fat, overweight kid as with pimples and not very attractive. And when I look at these things, I think today my mindset has shifted in the way that I look at myself. I think every single day is a constant. It's a little bit of a game. It's like this, making sure that I'm not making up stories about myself. I think it's very. I mean, in a way, we all live in our own story. We get to choose how we see ourselves every single day, and if we're not conscious, if we're not being mindful of how we look at ourselves, then it could be very confusing, and we can put ourselves down very easily, based off of what society tells us about ourselves. So how I live my life today, or what I aim to do, is to be a better person every single day, but to not compare myself with other people. Now, I definitely do. So, for example, I'm a whatever, an inspirational speaker. So what do? I do look at my fellow inspirational speaker friends, and I think there is a healthy way to compare yourself and then a unhealthy way. The healthy way is you compare yourself so you can be a better person. The unhealthy way is you compare yourself and then you feel like you're not good enough or you're not as good as someone else. Therefore, you beat yourself up over it and or you just feel like you're not good enough overall. And um again, I talked about this on the last live stream, but I think when I compare myself, the ultimate goal is to be a better person. And sure, there might be some human elements where I might beat myself up just a little bit, or maybe more than a little bit. But I think I'm always being mindful to know that every single person on this in this earth, like we are all on our own life journey. So I am not on the same path as my other inspirational speaker friends. I'm not on the same path as my brother or my sister or my mom or my dad or my other friends. Like we all have our own path of life. And I think the goal is to just constantly grow and just be happy. Like that's really what's about. So, um, I do want to go back to the topic once again, circle back, which is we are not our bad days. So, in this moment, if I were to ask myself who I am, if I'm not my bad days, who am I? Who is Richard Kuo? For me, I would say that I am um, a loving, kind, giving person. Someone who is powerful, confident, and capable. So that's who I see myself as. And I think for me, I've done a lot of like personal development, self growth. I've done a lot of workshops. I've done a lot of trainings on, just how to grow myself internally from the inside out. And a lot of these workshops kind of preach this idea of like affirmations, these positive phrases that we say to ourselves. So, like for example, I have something called a contract, which is something that I will say to myself, which is I'm a connected, powerful, loving man, and that's something that's in a way I process or I came up with that little phrase through an exercise that I went through. I'm a connected, powerful, loving man, and in a way, I think we get to choose who we want to be. So if you have thoughts of yourself, if you feel like you are, uh, maybe you're not that confident a person, or you're not very powerful, or you're not very smart, or whatever it is, again, that is just a thought, and these thoughts we can change. So we're not our good thing. We're not our good days. We're not our bad days. But rather, I feel like we are what we choose to be, and I think we can always, if you don't like the words you say to yourself, if it's like, if you say, I am ugly or I am not good enough, if those are the words that you say to yourself, it's okay. Uh, I think you get to forgive yourself. You get to be patient with yourself and continue to push yourself to change those words from I'm not good enough to I am capable, I am powerful, I am confident, I am giving, I am loving, I am friendly, I am influential. Like whatever positive words you want to be, because I think that's really what it's about. So, uh, yeah, I think in conclusion of today's little mini conversation or topic of you are not your bad days, today I'll leave it with this little thought, or yes, thought. So today, for myself, I today wasn't like the quote unquote the best day for me because it wasn't super productive. I think what threw me off was that I didn't. So I send out a lot of messages, and I try to connect with a lot of people today, and the response was not as expected or intended, and that kind of that made it challenging for me. So what I know of myself is like in terms of results, we're not always going to get what we want, and that's okay. And the goal is to not dwell on the not getting the results that you want, but rather to keep pushing forward. So What I do know is tomorrow is going to be a new day. Tomorrow is going to be a new opportunity to be better. So, in a way, today I'm going to take it easy for myself, relax, enjoy, and try to not put so much pressure on myself. If that makes sense. Okay. So, imperfect day for me. I hope you are doing well today. That is enough about me. That is the little note conversation of today. We can talk about it more in your Q&A as you ask questions. I'm going to just dive into comments now and let's have some conversations. We'll see where these conversations go. Yes. Chowder, good evening. Good evening to you too. Thank you for being here. Neko Nerdo, what did you miss? Well, you can rewind and watch this once the full version is done. Knuckles says on Friday, can we do Fortnite Friday? I'll think about it. I'll see. I kind of have plans for this Friday, kind of. Maybe, maybe not. If we do some sort of Fortnite Friday thing, it would be probably a little bit last minute. If we do, I will post a notification on I'll post a notification on what is that called? I'm blanking out a little bit. On YouTube. Like I'll post a live stream notification if I choose to do Fortnite Friday. Okay. Um. Yes. No, I am not married. Juicy Goosey says, "Where's the furthest location you would go for presenting in schools? Antarctica." Like, in terms of presenting to schools, I am open to travel as far as needed, anywhere in the world. Seriously. So yeah, that's my answer. Traveling is fun. The farthest I have traveled to speak at a school is New Jersey. So far, I've considered speaking in Asia, and because I have traveled there, it's just when I traveled to Asia, I never planned ahead and I never set up opportunities to speak there. So, but I'm sure it'll happen in the future. Chowder says, "You are not your good days. You are not your bad days. You are you, and you are amazing." Yes, exactly. Knuckles says, "I'm okay today." What's up, Save Bob? Charlene says, Mr. Mendelson. Ah, nice. Yeah, Mr. Mendelson, the teacher of our ASB class, said that he went to this conference and at one of the seminars, there was a company where they brought therapy dogs to campus on finals week. I need that. That's awesome. And Charlene, that's amazing that Mr. Mendelson is your teacher. I do know him, and he is one of the few teachers at the conference that I knew before the conference because he's been to a bunch of other. I've just met him through the cattle organization that we're both a part of, and I saw him this weekend too. Yeah, multiple times. Let's see. Chow Derp says, "I'm honestly thankful I can worry about trivial stuff like grades and teachers." Nice. Charlene says, "I also have 3 finals tomorrow." Oh goodness. Good luck with that. And I hope you are ready for it. If you are not ready, I hope this is a little mini break and you continue to prep more and get some rest for tomorrow as well. Knuckles says, "If you have plans or something else going on, that's okay." Awesome. Neko says, "The stream started not too long ago, right? 15 minutes ago." That is correct. It did start 15 minutes ago. For live streams, so I made a decision to start live streams 30 minutes, earlier. Normally it was 8 p.m. Now it's at 7:30 in California time. Just because I realized that people, have school, and yeah, so hopefully 30 minutes will help a little bit. But yeah, that's what I got. Charlene said he said that Houston Craft was there too. Yes, Houston Craft was there. He did the keynote for the Cata convention, and Houston was amazing. Like, yeah, that was one of the best keynotes I've seen. And after watching Houston's keynote at Cata this weekend, I was just like, dude, that was epic. That inspired me a lot. And Charlene, if I'm being completely real, when I'm talking about like comparing myself with other people, Houston was actually, that person I had in mind, or one of the people I had in mind, because Houston is about the same age as me, and the fact that he's so good at what he does is mind-blowingly amazing, and there's like this part of me of like I compare myself with him because he helps me grow. He helps me see what is possible when it comes to speaking. Like, yeah. So that's like the positive kind of comparing. And the negative comparing would be if the thought were to be like, oh, Houston's so much better than me. I could never be like him. That would be the negative kind of comparing. And I don't think that's healthy. And I think this is where if you feel like you're not as good as someone else, it's about recognizing your strengths, recognizing your gifts in a way. And what I do know is Houston's an amazing person. And what I also know is that and I'm an amazing person as well. Like uh my speaking style is different. I reach a different like in a way we could reach a similar audience, but a different kind of crowd because we have a different message. So anyway, that goes back to my focus is really being the best that I can be and honing my message, honing my message of you matter, which is slightly different from Houston's message. Anyway, Houston's awesome. And I love that, again, we're on this journey of life, of improving ourselves and being the best version, each being the best versions of our own self. Yeah. Knuckle says, if there was a choice to have a therapy dog at your house, I'm automatically having one. Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I think oh goodness. I would love a therapy dog as well. I would say the biggest challenge for me is taking care of it. Taking care of pets or babies or whatever, taking care of anything, even plants, is a lot of responsibility. IMO. Let's see here. Nick says, I feel everyone hates me. Everyone's not interested in me. Horrible. Thinking about how much people hate me and always mad at me. Um, Nick, I feel you. Like, I understand where you're coming from, and I'm I want to say that your feelings are valid. Now, what is the real story though? Is it true that everyone hates you? Or is that just a feeling? And uh, if I were to put myself in your position, when I used to have thoughts like that. I used to feel like everyone hated me or nobody liked me. No one wanted to talk to me. I was kind of the outsider, the loner. And I was, you know, I held leadership positions in high school, but I felt so isolated. And what I realized is I don't think it's that people necessarily hate you, or they're just not interested in you. It's just like everyone has their own life and they're just doing their own thing. And that is not to say that we don't matter. It's just everyone's doing their own thing. So for I think it's important if we feel like, in a way, the world is against us to continue finding our support system, continue finding people who do care about us, as opposed to focusing on the people who don't care about us. So that's number one, and number two, it's continuing to be the best that you can, continuing to push yourself to just to in a way you do you like to continue finding your passion, to continue working towards whatever goals that you might have. And if you're struggling with that, that's okay. I understand what it's like to struggle and have those, like, I don't know what to do, I don't feel motivated. uh and at the end of the day, it's just keep pushing forward. And I think as long as you keep pushing forward, you will find people who value you for who you are. And yeah, so that's my thoughts on it. Yeah. And it's weird. It's when I think about this whole concept of like, oh, people hate me, in a way, what I realize is it shouldn't matter what other people think about us. Like, I think we're putting too much significance on other people versus us caring about ourselves. Like, life in a way, we can't control what other people think about us. We can't control what other people, um, how do you say this? How much other people, quote unquote, care about us. So we get to care for ourselves. I don't know if this is supportive, but yeah. Point is, all storms will pass. Things will get better, and just keep pushing forward. That's what I have to say. Like, I think perspective can be perspective is very interesting because your perspective, all of our perspectives are valid. We all get to choose how we see life. So, I hope you continue to move towards a positive perspective of life. I know that life isn't always perfect and life isn't always quote unquote on your side. Uh, but continue pushing forward, and I know that things will get better because that's just how it how life rolls. Yeah. Neko says it's just that last time there was no notification about the stream on Discord, so just making sure you got it. And I'm not sure. I guess in a way, I'm like, do people actually look at the notifications on Discord? If so, what I'm hearing, I know you do because I see you on Discord, Neko Nerdo. So I will do my best every single time I do live stream to post a notification the day of, just so there's another confirmation that there is a yes, there is a live stream. Yeah. Anti Evan says I need motivation. You got this. Yeah. Motivation. If we're feeling unmotivated, huh? For me, if we're feeling unmotivated, I think it's okay. I think in a way it's a little bit of like I almost want to call it like a skill. Like it's something that we get to push ourselves and develop over time. Uh, Sometimes we don't feel that motivation, and sometimes the best thing we do is push ourselves. And sometimes I would almost say the opposite. Sometimes we feel like we need to get work done. We don't feel that motivation, and sometimes we need to take a break. And today was a little bit of one of those days for myself. Like I I don't want to say I lacked motivation today, but I was there were things that made me feel resistance. So I don't know if you could relate with that. Like sometimes it's not about lacking motivation, but rather being resistant. So maybe it's being resistant to studying. Like, oh, I don't feel like studying. So it depends. Yeah. Alrighty. Are you planning on getting engaged anytime soon? Nope. I do not plan on getting engaged anytime soon. Let's see. My crush probably thinks I'm weird, and that's okay. I think for me, I think it's okay to be weird. In a way, I feel like it's weird to not be weird. If people aren't weird, I think there's something wrong with them. I think we all have our own little weirdness, and we should embrace them. So I think it is very easy for us to be. It's very easy for us to care so much about what other people think about us, and I think the goal is to embrace the awkward, embrace the weirdness, and to learn to be okay with whatever people want to think about us, whether they judge us or whatever it is. I think one thing that I myself try to be better at is to not care so much what other people about what other people think about me. So yeah, but that is a work that is very valid, and it is a work in progress for myself too. What nationality are you? If you're talking about nationality, I am American. Uh, yes, born and raised in California in the United States. My parents are from Taiwan. If you're curious to know that. Chadrup says, I feel like people aren't going to go out of the way to be friends with you, not because they don't like you, but because they may not think you're interested or just don't go out to meet people. Yeah. When you go up to people, that might change. Yeah. I want to break this down a second for a quick second. Um, yeah, so Chowderp is saying sometimes people don't go out of their way to make friends, and not because they don't like you. I agree with this. It's not because they don't like you, but rather uh, they may think you personally are not interested, or they're in a way comfortable where they are. So yeah, but I agree. Approaching other people and making that effort is kind of a first step for that, and also embracing rejection or what you perceive to be rejection as well. Alrighty. Ming, shout out to Ming. Chadrup says, "Could I ask a bit of a heavy question? I want to ask, but I don't know if it's out of the scope of the Q&A." Well, I mean, the only way to know is if you ask a question, right? So go ahead and ask that question, and we'll see from there. Charlene says, "I have a few friends who were really nice to me, but they are now kind of passive aggressive. They tease me a bit every day and call me names, but I don't know if they don't like me or they are joking." Hmm. Interesting. I feel like labeling someone as whether they like you or don't like you, uh, it's a valid thing to think about, but I almost want to say, what if it doesn't matter if someone quote unquote likes us or does not like us? What if it's just a kind of a gray area? What if they're being passive aggressive because s- uh, something bothers them and they don't want to share it? So that's that's kind of my thought. I don't think it necessarily needs to be black or white. Like, do they like me or do they not like me? Yeah, and I don't know. Those are definitely, especially in a lot of, I almost want to say in a lot of middle school relationships or friendships. Sometimes it's kind of weird talking about these things and bringing them up. I don't know if it works for you, but for me, if I notice people are being passive aggressive and they're not being very nice, uh, I personally will address it. But that's also because I am, I guess, in a way, a little bit more grown up, and I have learned to not I don't where I am today. And you let me know, Charlene. I'm very curious, and anyone else who's on right now, I would love to hear your feedback on this. Like, for me, if someone's being passive aggressive to me, I will I will in a way call them out, or I'll say call them forward. I will address the challenge or address the issue at hand. If something makes me uncomfortable and they're being passive aggressive, I'll be like, "Hey, look, you know, is it okay if we talk real quick?" Okay, yeah. I just want to let you know that I don't appreciate the way you tease me or you make fun of me. You know, what's that about or whatever, and I'd have that conversation and I would address things that don't make me feel comfortable. So that's what I would do today. And my friends, the friends I hang out with, and I would like to think my friends that I hang out with today are very and generally good people, and also they're mature too. So my friends won't joke around and tease in a negative kind of way. Uh, if they do joke around and tease, it's because it's more out of love than anything else. So my point being, uh, if you're not being treated right, if I were you, I would try to address it. And then if they're not willing to work with it, then kindly find another group of people who will value for who you are. Yeah. But I don't want to preach as if this is the best advice because I don't know your situation, and maybe this is more appropriate in you know a, a grown-up setting in a way. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, and this is why I'm always interested in having these conversations, because I remember what it's like to be in middle school, and those conversations would probably be a little bit awkward. But I'd like to hear what you have to say about that. Kevin's the boss. Thanks for the motivation. You're welcome, and thanks for being here. Ming says, "I do the weird dance in school dances." Nice. Good stuff. Yeah, keep it up. What's my Fortnite username? The one that I have not signed into for a very, very long time. It's literally just my name. It's Richard Kuo, no spaces. Chowderp says, being weird is so cool. Being okay with your quirks is the best way to live. I feel like if you try to get rid of them, you're just trying to get rid of the most interesting part of you. I agree. Uh, and when I'm thinking, when I think quirky, I think of Zoe Deschanel, the actress, or Rebel Wilson. Like, I don't know. It's really cool to see people who just embrace their quirks like fully, which is awesome. And I think for myself, if I'm being completely honest, there are parts of myself I do embrace, and there's parts of of myself that I just feel awkward sometimes, and I work on embracing in a way. So, yeah. But I think the goal is to ultimately embrace our quirks and not care about what other people think about us. So, life goals. Charter says, any advice you have used to deal with loss? I've had a really hard time in the past few months because I have had two friends pass away and had my closest friend group leave. I have nobody at school. I've honestly been really scared because I feel like this is all my fault. It's making self improvement really hard. I don't know if it's out of the scope of this, but just wondering if you had a nugget of wisdom. Chowder, first of all, thank you for sharing, and I am sorry to hear about your losses. That sounds really big. That sounds huge, and I personally have not dealt with those losses, but I have had other friends who have dealt with losses like that, including their best friends passing away, like two of them in a span of like a month and a half. So I'm familiar with that, and I have a friend. Um, yeah, so this is going to get a little bit deeper, but I do hope that this supports you. I have a friend of mine who was in a relationship, and her boyfriend took his own life. And for as you could probably imagine, this friend of mine had like just a lot of trauma, a lot of just beliefs of not feeling like a lot of blame, a lot of guilt that it was her fault that the the boyfriend took his own life. And she went through a lot of therapy, and uh the conclusion why I bring this, kind of heavy topic up is because the conclusion is for such a long time she was very sad, depressed, and um she was wondering, like, how do I not feel guilt and blame for all of this? I felt like I could have done something because, I am his girlfriend. And the therapist said, what if, um, what if he already made that decision, and what you did was you helped him live longer. So in a way, she helped brighten his life. And I think that thought kind of helped her, my friend, in I guess coping with the unfortunate situation. And maybe that might be support to you. What if well, I think your cases might be a little bit different. And please forgive me if this for other people listening. I'm sorry to go into a deep topic so suddenly like this. But I think it's important to try to see the positive side of it. Like what positive thing did you do to in your friend's life in a way? Yeah. And what I've heard from so many of my friends who have had, friends of theirs pass away is, they feel that guilt. They feel like a lot of responsibility on them. And what I in essence feel from every single one of my friends who've had friends who pass away is that they've end up realizing after processing all this information that it's really not their fault. And uh, the next step is to do the best you can living your life, I guess, in a way, in honor of your friends. So yes, thank you for sharing, and I hope that is a little bit supportive through the challenging, yeah, your challenging moments. Thank you for sharing that. Let's see. Is there anything else that I can think of? I have. Hmm. Yeah. I guess the other words of wisdom is to continue when you feel ready. I think part of it is being patient and having self compassion for yourself. I think that's always a really important element. Be patient with yourself, and then when you feel ready, when you feel yeah, when you just feel ready, continue having these conversations with people. Maybe that is with a therapist or with other trusted friends. So that's my little tidbits of nuggets of wisdom. Hopefully that's supportive in some way. If you have more like additional like, how about this? Like, what are your thoughts on this? I'll be happy to share whatever thoughts that I have. All right. Yeah, I do hope that's supportive. Juicy Goosey says, my crush wants to play. I message games with people on her Instagram story, and I don't know if I should shoot my shot right now. uh, I don't know about that. Whatever your heart feels is the right thing to do. Now, because I haven't had time to work on any animations, so I haven't posted anything on my channel in almost a month. Let's see, Justin. Well, Knuckles, I would, just basic encouragement of when you feel ready, and I think part of it is like if you have a certain goal, it's just about continuing to push towards that goal. I know life can get challenging, but it's if you want to do animations, just carve out some time and make it a priority. That's what I would say. Just Incredible, what's up? Good to see you on. Let's see, Justin's. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Diego Solario says, "Are you ready for decon?" I am. That's all the way in April. We still have another month. We good. Yeah. Diego says, "Any tips for being an LTG?" Uh, my thing is, all right. So, any tips for being an LTG for or anyone else who's on here? If anyone's in leadership or any kind of leadership role at their school, on campus, or any other organization, my tip in general is let this role of yours, this leadership position, be like just embrace, have fun with it, and let it be an opportunity for you to grow yourself. Don't focus on being like a quote unquote perfect leader, but rather just focus on growing. Having the uh, humility to be wrong also. Do your best. Always do your best to give and serve other people, but also be okay if you mess up too. Like I remember there was a time where I I showed up like 30 minutes late to a DCM meeting that I was running, and I felt so bad. And I was printing out agendas, I was doing all these things, and I remember like there was a part of me that I was trying to save face. So when I got there 30 minutes late, I apologized to the few people who knew, but in terms of like the big audience of everyone who was there, I didn't really mention it. I was hoping that they were so busy just talking that they didn't realize I was 30 minutes late. And in a way, I was trying to save face. I was trying to, present myself as this leader back in the day. And what I realized is that's not what leadership is about. If we mess up, of course we want to do our best, but if you mess up, it's not about trying to save face, trying to look as this leader, but rather, I think a leader is someone who admits their faults. Say, "Hey, everyone, please forgive me. I'm sorry for being 30 minutes late." And, of course, in the future, I commit to being on time for every single event going forward. So a leader is someone who does make mistakes, but continues to better themselves. So that's what I would say. Let whatever leadership role you have be a learning opportunity, and focus on giving and, of course, having fun. So that's what I would say. Yeah, life is good. Mr. Marquez says, it is hard with this around this time with the incident yesterday in Aliso Viejo. What happened? Mr. Marquez, what happened in Aliso? Let's see. Plans for spring break. Well, I mean, I don't really have a spring break because, I work for myself. If you're asking other people, feel free. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear. What is everyone's plans for spring break? What I do know is during a month, 2 weeks from now, which is spring break. I know in Austin has spring break. I will be in Austin. I will be at a business mastermind retreat to grow myself and be a better person, along with other entrepreneurs and just yeah, people who are looking to better themselves and better the world. I do know I know that they're in spring break in 2 weeks because I tried reaching out to a few schools in the Austin area to see if they'd like me to come speak there. But then I realized practically all the schools are on spring break that week. I will be there, so that's unfortunate. Yeah. Chowderp says, I have a super cool plan for spring break. I'm meeting up with my online friends in Pittsburgh for the first time in a couple years. Nice. That's cool. Knuckles says, the thing is, I got a brand new drawing tablet. It is really nice and has a monitor, but I just never have time to do it. Also, drawing just 1 or 2 frames can take 1 to 2 hours. One thing I want to say is, so it's not that I think a lot of times we as humans will make the excuse that we don't have time for something. But I don't think it's not that we don't have time for something, but rather we don't prioritize something. And I do not say this in a way to, attack you or like push you, you got to draw. But rather to take this as an opportunity to, in general, for all of us to recognize that if there's something if there's something you feel like you don't have time for, it's not that we don't have time for it, it's that we're not prioritizing it, and that's okay. Maybe it's not a priority. So a good example for me is like contacting or keeping up with friends. There's a lot of friends I want to message, and it could be so simple as like, hey, how's it going, George? you know but sometimes I don't do it because it's not because I don't have time. Yes, maybe we're all busy, but it's not being intentional in taking that time to doing it. So, whether it's drawing or working out or whatever it is, it's not that we don't have time. It's that in a way, we don't prioritize it or we push it away and we make an excuse, possibly. So I just want to bring that to our attention, myself included, because I myself am not perfect with accomplishing everything that I want to. But that's also okay for me too. I try to live my life in a very simple way. Or maybe that's just an excuse for me. But I feel like I like having a pretty simple life where I don't need to overwhelm myself with so many different things to do. Uh, yeah, but rather for me, my life is more about just, I don't want to say chilling, but just enjoying the flow of it and, uh, you know, keeping productive and busy and enjoying it. Juicy Goosey says, I'm going to Virginia and DC for spring break. Nice. That's awesome. Traveling is always good. Knuckles says, I'll try to do animations again in the spring break. I haven't even drawn for a really long time. Is it okay if I leave this live stream to practice with my tablet for a bit? Yeah, absolutely, man. Do your thing, man. You don't need permission to leave. Just do your thing. This is a live stream. If you want to be here, be here. If you got other things to do, go do your other things. If you got final exams to study for, go study for your final exams. Yeah. Justin says, "Hey Richard, let's see. Hey, what's your thoughts and opinions on SJWs? Me, I've been really tired of SJW. What SJWs? What's that? What are SJWs? Because I always get bashed by them on videos on YouTube, and to me, there seems to be more of them than ever before. What are SJWs? Social justice warriors. Okay, so huh. I always get bashed by them on videos on YouTube. So social justice warriors. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? I'd like to hear. Is that like people who are kind of PC, you know? It's all about political correctness and, you know, feminism and all these things. Is that that's kind of what I'm guessing? I'm gonna social justice social justice warrior is a pejorative term for an individual who promotes socially progressive views, including feminism, civil rights, and multiculturalism, as well as identity. Let's see here. Social justice warrior. I'm going to a person who expresses or promotes socially progressive views. Okay, got it. So I'm going to say people who are like typically opinionated on certain topics. Unfavorable opinions. All right. Thoughts and opinions on people who have their views. My thoughts and opinions. Like I don't really have a problem with people with who are into their beliefs. I think that in general it's okay to have your own perspective on things. Ideally, people should respect other people's opinions and not be like super like so charged in their belief that everyone else is wrong. And I think that's where things kind of get uh dicey. I don't my vocabulary is going out the drain right now. Uh yeah, so sure, I think you're going to run into people who are super opinionated and they're not open. They're not open to hearing other people's opinions. They think they're right and everyone else is wrong. No, we got to do this because of this. You know, this happens with a lot of issues, racial issues, political issues, religious issues. And again, I think at the end of the day, like for me, if someone is super passionate about something, look, I still respect them. Even if they don't respect my perspective, they think they're right. I still respect their perspective. And for me, if someone has their own opinion, in a way, I let them speak their opinion. This is just how I roll. Okay. I'm not someone, I don't need to argue with everyone's opinion. I don't need to be right because my life is not about being right all the time. Sometimes it is. uh, but point being, like, yeah, I don't know if people want to argue, like if I make a video about whatever feminism or something, and then I have some SJW like comment like no, that's not what it's about, it's about this, and they get super fired up about it. For me, I will do my best to read their comments, understand their intention, and be like, okay, I understand what you're saying, I respect your opinion, thank you for sharing. And you know I don't quite agree with you, but I respect your opinion, I see where you're coming from. And that's it. Like, I'll leave it at that because you know, there is no right or wrong. Everyone has their own opinion. So, I mean, who's to say who's right and who's wrong? But I don't say that in a way to be kind of oblivious and saying that I have absolutely no opinion. I do have an opinion. It's just like, I don't know. In a way, we get to pick and choose our battles. What do you care about? What are you actually willing to fight for? So, that's what I have to say. And you know, in in the what is it? The issues that I do care about, um, I will speak up and I will say things. So things like little things like, I mean, here I will consider myself a was it a social justice warrior when it comes to, let's say, derogatory terms. Not like I'm not super hardcore, but like if people use things like retarded, lame, racial slurs, things like derogatory terms, I will call people out or I will correct them because I think people are not aware. of how the language affects our society. So that's what I do. Why? Because I understand that a lot of times we're not being aware of the impact we have on other people on the words that we use, because it can trigger someone in, you know, a not so great way. And and then people will fire back like, Richard, why are you being so sensitive, or being so like nitpicky about things? It's just a joke. And sure, it's a joke, but I think it's important to understand the other side of the coin. How do other people think? What's the response reaction? So in my opinion, yeah, as long as people are being respectful, and yeah, for me it's just honoring other people's opinion. That's my thought. Alrighty. Are you going to speak at schools after spring break? Of course, man. Ming, this is what I do. I speak at schools. This is what I do for my life, for my career. Yeah, so I'll most definitely be speaking of I'll be speaking, yeah. I was going to say forever. But yeah, I mean I do plan on continuing to speak. So, yes. Alrighty. Chowderp says, I'm not usually scared of public speaking, but I'm really concerned because tomorrow's audience is full of my ex best friends that now hate me. I've still been getting very nervous just looking at them. Uh, hmm. Gotcha. Good luck with your presentation. Is it presentation tomorrow? Yes. Best of luck. You got this. Focus on the people that you want to serve, not the people that hate you, but the people you want to serve, and focus on them. Yeah, I understand that nervousness because I've felt that too. I've been in audiences where, like, I'm speaking, I'm like super excited to speak to this huge audience, and there's that one person in the room that I'm like, oh my goodness, they're in here. Like I feel like I need to focus my attention on them. But yeah, focus on the positive. Let's see here. Can you help win a match in Fortnite? Can you help me? Yeah. Can't say I'm that great at it, so yeah, it's been a while. Super rusty. Asher, what's up? Good to see you on. Asher says, how's your day been? You look great today. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Today was a little bit of an off day for me, and that's okay. We have our good days, we have our bad days, and this is why today's topic is you are not your bad days, as a reminder to you and myself that we are not our bad days or our grades or whatever happens in our lives, but rather we are what we choose we are. Yeah. So yeah, Juicy says you need to do a 12-hour stream sometime just for fun, preferably on a Saturday. You mean the one we did like how many months ago? We did it. Juicy, I don't know if you're familiar with this. We did a 12-hour live stream on a Saturday in the past. I'm guessing you know that. Otherwise, you wouldn't be so precise on that. Yeah. Let's see here. Chrysanthemum, hello. Juicy says, do you get paid for speaking at schools, or is it just a service? Yes, I do get paid to speak at schools. That is my livelihood. That's how I survive. Yeah. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I enjoy the structure because it allows me, I mean, yeah, I do pretty decent, and it gives me the flexibility to do things like, make YouTube live, do live YouTube videos, where I don't, I have no intention of making money off of this. I just do it because I'm passionate about, I'm passionate about it, and I want to. So, yeah, it gives me that flexibility. There's different ways to, I guess, in a way, make money. And yeah, this is the one that works for me, and I love that I get to work with schools. I love that I get to, speak, do school assemblies. I do leadership workshops. I get to speak with the teachers, and yeah, it's really a blessing to be in the field that I'm in, and I love it. Asher says, Richard, what's something good that's happened this week? I like your shirt, by the way. Thank you very much. Something good that's happened this week. Let's see. Well, in the past 2 days. So let's see. I mean, great question. You asked this on Monday, which is great. I love this. It's a beautiful question. I think we should always constantly be thinking what's great. So last time on Monday, I said the CATA convention I went to, and so for the past 2 days, I would say the thing that's great for me is, ooh, this is a good one. Good, like good, and I almost want to say quote unquote bad. It's not bad, but it's reflective. So I want to say that I realize that on a deeper level, that rejection is not personal. Like, so I used to be scared to reach out to schools. And like, for example, if I go to Austin, I'm going to Austin in 2 weeks. I reach out to some schools because, Austin schools are not going to know that I'm going to be there unless I let them know I'm going to be there. So if I don't get a response back from them, normally I would feel very kind of sad, like, oh my goodness, why is no one responding? I reach out to them, I call them, I email them, but no one's responding. Normally, that's how I'd feel. And if I'm being honest, there is part of that feeling of like, oh, no one responded back, or very few people responded back, not as many as I wish would respond back. But then I also realized that people are just really busy. People have their own agendas, and if they're not looking at speakers right now, then they're not going to focus on that right now. So that's what I realized. And yeah, like for me, it's, if there's something that you want to do, like for me, it's speaking at schools. If there's something you want to do, continue pushing and trying to do that, revising your strategy. If you notice things are not working the way you want them, how can you improve? How do you get better at it? So that's something that's good that has happened to me. Yes. Let's see. Just Incredible says, I agree. What happened to me today is I commented on a wrestling video saying uh, Batista is better than everyone today. Then I got attacked by SJW saying I was having a fetish for muscular wrestlers, etc. Yeah, I mean, people, is that considered SJW? Yeah. Anyway, having a fetish for I mean, people are going to just, say their opinions. It is what it is. Justin says, if you want to see a community filled with SJWs, go to WWE's community. It's terrible. The whole reason why it's dead in today's time, literally. Asher says, I haven't had the best day either, but I'm happy to get to be here. I hope your mental state gets better ASAP. Thank you very much. And I hope all of yours does as well. That we stay mentally strong, happy. And if you're not having a good day today, it's okay to be patient with yourself. And tomorrow is a new day. So start again. Be fresh. Enjoy. Juicy says, I legit did not know you did a 12-hour stream on a Saturday. I thought that was an original idea. Please believe me. Okay, I believe you if you say so. But yes, the live stream kind of cut off, but you can see if you type in like 12-hour live stream, you could probably find it on my channel. Yeah, it was pretty hardcore. We did it. I'm not clear if you actually knew that or not. Chrysanthemum says, Richard, you talked at my school. You're really cool. Thank you, Chrysanthemum. Remind me again, what school do you go? What school are you at? That just helps me see where people are tuning in from. Chadrup says, you're sweet, Sarah. Yeah. I had a long discussion with one of my Belgian friends on how to pronounce stroopwafel. It was very funny. It sounds funny. Bohodes says, hi, Richard. My world history teacher is falsely accusing me of cheating. What should I do? I feel very depressed, to be honest. Ooh, I feel like this theme of being falsely accused has come up in my life recently. I've heard multiple stories from, from my mom shared with me something. And point is, sometimes life doesn't treat us fairly. And sometimes we get accused for things that we didn't do. And wow, I think, if you're being falsely accused of something that you didn't do and you feel sad about it, first of all, it's okay to feel sad. It's okay to feel those emotions. They're normal. And I think the important thing is if you know you didn't do something, but you're in a way being punished for it, I think the first thing is to be at peace, like to work on being at peace with yourself. Meaning, like, if you know you didn't do anything wrong, be at peace with yourself. Like, acknowledge with yourself, hey, look, Richard, if I'm talking to myself, Richard, you didn't do it. You got accused for doing this, but you didn't do anything wrong. Okay. So um it's okay. Now there's still gonna be that feeling of like that anxiety of, oh my goodness, other people are judging me. They think I did this, they think I cheated. Um, if that's the case, like I don't know how to say this. It's like you can, of course, do your best to defend or have that conversation, talk to someone who believes you, and I will say, if you're saying that you did not cheat and you're being genuine about that, I believe you. Okay. If your teacher doesn't believe you, then that's another thing, but I believe you that you didn't cheat. And yeah, we can't always control what other people think. And there's actually a keynote speaker at the conference I went to, Kata. His name was, wait, hold on. I might be mixing it. P. Vargas. P. Vargas. P. Vargas was our keynote speaker, and he shared a story about how my memory is not the greatest. I think it was someone else, but he shared a story. Anyway, he shared a story where uh, it was a boy. I forgot if this was him or someone he knew, but a boy was accused of like sexually molesting a younger girl, and he's like, I didn't do it. Like, and then he got turned into the police by his family and then others, and he kept saying like, I didn't do it, and no one believed him because the neighbors were accusing him, his own parents were accusing him. The police didn't really quite have evidence, but they were kind of pointing like, well, I think your parents are probably right. So nobody believed him, and it wasn't until like I think he went to his only other option was like to go live with his grandparents, and his grandparents like, look, we believe you. We believe you, even though everyone else is saying these bad things about you. So point being, yeah, like, I mean, you know what you did yourself if you didn't do it, and hang around, I guess in a way, like hang around people who believe you. But yeah, that's all. Things will things will pass. Vespertinus, thank you for your compliments. Asher, I appreciate your support. Yes, and by the way, any of you, if someone says something in the comments and they're asking questions, whether it's directed at me or not, like feel free to just chime in and share your opinions and thoughts because I do value your opinion, and I think that there's a lot of great minds in here that could support. Knuckle says, slowly inching towards my drawing tablet, ready to draw by everyone. All right, Knuckles, enjoy. Thank you so much for being here, and I'm glad that you are drawing again. Awesome. Chrysanthemum says, Foothill Richard. My class wasn't very accommodating, but I really enjoyed your talk. Thank you. Yeah, that was one of the more challenging presentations that I've done. But I'm happy for the people that I was able to connect with. Yeah. Prove them wrong and don't take their answer. Hmm. No, that's good. Yeah. Again, chime in. Feel free to chime in. Let's see. Asher says, I feel like I can't ever defeat depression. It's kind of hard, to be honest, but I'm trying my best to learn to cope and live with it instead of trying to ignore it or pretend it's not there. Any advice? I think, Asher, I think you're on the right track. I think you're doing the best that you can, and I think that's really where to go with it. Uh, I am going to sell. I think everyone's situation is a little bit different, but I kind of see my mom as a role model of getting over depression. Uh, she was facing a really hard time, and the main things that got my mom over depression: number one, daily exercise. So I think exercise helps. Number two is community, surrounding yourself with positive people who believe in you and just talk, are just willing to talk. And then number three, I would say the thing that healed my mom from her depression is taking time to reflect over her life and uh, realizing that for her in her situation, it was that for her she gets to live her own life. She gets to just in a way be free because she didn't have the best relationship with my dad, and that's why she felt a lot of depression. So uh, that's what I hear from my mom, and uh, yeah, hopefully that's supportive in some way. But besides that, that's from my mom's perspective, what I would hear. From my own perspective, when it comes to depression, I think being kind to yourself, I think that you're doing that. Continuing to stay connected, I think you're doing that. Um, what else? Continuing to do things like focus on a goal that you have and keep working towards that goal, whatever that is. And I think that will support us towards, in a way, being happy. Yeah. Knuckles says, "Wait, I don't need to leave. I can have both YouTube and my drawing software open. I forgot that." Ha, nice. Awesome. All right. Asher says, "Because I've watched Richard for a long time, and for some reason he trusts silly old me and decided to make me a moderator or something for the chat." Yes. Exactly. Vespertina says, "Hey Richard, what are your thoughts on the expectations from Asian parents? I've been really stressed out, and I have all my friends are in the top 5% of our school, but I'm concerned about losing my humanity. Competition by nature makes empathy difficult to practice because everyone wants to screw everyone else over." I understand you. I understand you. This is this is a great conversation, Vespertinus. I think this is, and I have a feeling this year specifically, I will be speaking out a lot more schools that, with a lot more students who face that kind of challenge. It's very, very common, especially in Asian culture, because it's all about being the best and being the top of the class. And it's challenging. It's especially challenging because of the culture. If you have traditional parents, like immigrant parents who are like, they want you to be the best, and there's so much pressure to be the best, I think it's going to be very challenging to convince your parent, especially if you're, a son or a daughter, like, "Hey, mom, I think you should be less hard on me because life isn't all about grades." I think I think they're just gonna laugh at you or just smack you or something like that. Um, so I do think it's challenging to say that to a traditional Asian parent. I think that is the reality of it. But I think what we can do as students, as you know, when there is that high expectation, number one, I think it's it's just a lot of pressure. So number one is continue to do your best. Continue to be a top performer to the best of your ability. Number two, hold on, there's more. Wait for all the answers. Number two is, in a way, if I were to give advice to my younger self who felt so much academic pressure growing up, it is, "Hey Richard, it's okay if you're not top 5%. Like, it's okay. You are okay. Like, it's not the end of the world. If you don't get into your dream college, it's not the end of the world. Do your best. Do your best. Try to get into those dream schools. But if you don't, it's okay. Just know, as long as you know you did your best." And oh, I hear my younger self talking like, "Oh, but even though I do all my homework, I don't feel like I do my best. I still hang out with my friends for like 30 minutes a day. You know, I could have done better." And then I beat myself up. And I think, like, looking back, even though I didn't feel like I did my best, I think doing your best is like, as long as you are pushing yourself to study, I think that's really, I don't say that's really it, but generally you're on the right track. So in general, don't be so hard on yourself. So going back, Man, this is tough too. I'm curious. I I would almost advise my younger self. I'm not saying you should do this, but like if I were to tell my younger self, I would almost tell my younger self, "Hey, yo, Richard, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but have you considered talking with, mom and dad and letting them know that life isn't just about grades? Have you considered having that conversation?" Because I do feel like that is a valuable conversation to have. And yeah, like I think that's a very scary conversation to have with a parent, especially if they're very strict and they're like, "Nope, you have to get straight A's, or you have to get into Harvard, or whatever it is. You have to become a doctor, a lawyer." Um, but I think I would try to have that conversation. That human to human conversation of like, "Look, I'm doing my best that I can. Just know life is not all about grades, and I'm going to continue doing my best." I don't know. That's what I would say. I almost want to talk to Asian parents and tell them what I'm telling you, which is it's okay for your children to not be, you know, straight A's and top of the class, as long as they're doing their best. So, anyway, that's what I got. And in terms of your comparing yourself with your other people and your classmates, yeah. Um, but let's say you want to be one of the top people in your class. Still, you want to be part of that top 5%. Yeah, keep hustling. That's what okay. That's what I got. I want to read your comments since we're on this topic. Vespertina says, "Yeah, I struggle a lot with intrinsic motivation. Most of my motivation is just the euphoric rush from seeing test scores and then back into the cycle of stress and pressure. Would you consider raising a child in such a competitive environment like the Bay Area, child abuse to some extent?" Uh, you know, Yo, hey, Vespertinus, are you open to sharing what school you go to slash where you're from? Are you from the Bay Area? Let me know more. I ask because that's funny. There's actually schools that I might speak to in the Bay Area. Yeah. Uh, Gun is that the name of school? Have we met in person? Have I spoken at your school? Question mark. Gun High School. I'll check it out. Oh, snaps. Palo Alto. Goodness, that's yeah, no, I feel you there. Thank you for sharing. How did I go to your middle school? That's my guess. I'm guessing I went to your middle school. I'm trying to figure out how else we ended up connecting, unless you found me on YouTube. Anyway, yes, I very much understand the Bay Area and how competitive it is. And yeah, it's scary. Yeah. Ooh. And this is why I feel like I need to speak at more Bay Area schools because there's so many students going through the same challenge that you're facing too. Yeah. Oker Hills Middle School in Utah. I have not been to Utah. I'm not spoken as. No, hold on, refresh. I have most definitely been to Utah. My sister lives in Utah, pretty close to Salt Lake, actually, in Park City. So, but yeah, I haven't spoken in Utah yet, so that'll be new. Bu- 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 Yeah, goodness. And Vespertinus, my my thoughts to you. I wish that you continue to do the best you can. I wish that you give yourself permission to breathe once in a while and enjoy your high school years as much as academics is important. Academics is not everything. That's my opinion. Don't go up to your parents and say, "Hey, I'm not going to try in school because Richard said academics aren't everything." Don't say that. And don't do that either. um, but yes, I think it is important to have balance and enjoy your life and not just treat school as if it's just for academics, because life is so much more than academics. So enjoy, do the best you can, breathe, and I would almost encourage you, I would challenge you to have those open conversations with your parents. Like, hey, can we talk about school? Like, is school really all about academics? I know that there's so much pressure at school and all the other Bay Area kids say so. Um, but, is it possible to be successful without all this pressure? What is another way? Like, I don't know. I think it's super important to have these conversations. And I myself, I want to, uh, I do school assemblies, but I also want to branch out, not just school assemblies, but beyond that. Like, what is the next step? How do we have these conversations with our peers at school, with our teachers, with our parents? How do we have these conversations where it's okay, to whatever, yes, do our best, but also not be so hard on ourselves in a healthy way. Okay, that's what I got for that conversation. I will jump back in to reading questions right here. Uh, Asher says, I didn't get a part in the play I tried out for, but I'm still happy I tried. Oh, I'm glad that you tried, and that is a great perspective to have. Just Incredible says, it's sad for me hearing all these people with depression. I've never really had any major depression condition. I've been mad and upset with my life, but never really depressed. I know for at least 10 years, I know at least 10 people with severe depression. Yeah, it's so just quick statistics slash real talk about depression. Depression, I don't know how much, you younger, I mean, not Justin, but like younger people, I don't know if you know, but like right now, depression rates have increased. And I believe, based off my just, loose research and knowledge, part of it is due to social media and the rapid pace and the structure of it, like the comparing our, like when we scroll through Instagram or whatever it is, a lot of it is comparing ourselves. So that has caused a lot of anxiety, depression, comparison, so judgment, and it's also increased the amount of bullying because it's so easy to bully people, away from school as well. So depression has increased, and I do hope that this is a little bit just of a temporary phase, and that we figure out a solution for that. Um, yeah, I always thought about that. It's like, we are definitely living in an interesting period where it's like technology is really, I think technology does a lot of amazing things, and I think, it also has its consequences, but I think overall technology is good. It's just we get to resolve how do we deal with these challenges in this day and age. So that's just my thoughts. Asher says, I have a friend and she's really nice, really, really nice and caring and such a good person, but she has a crush on me and I never know how to address it without hurting her or making her boyfriend feel weird when I try to be nice about it. Um, let's see. First of all, that's cute. Oh, so she has a crush on you. She has a boyfriend. Do you like her back? Question mark. Making her boyfriend feel weird about it when I try to be nice about it. Mm, yeah. I mean, if you don't like her back, like romantically or whatever it is, I'm thinking about my I remember I had a friend who was gay who uh who thought I liked him because I was very friendly with him. And we were friendly with each other. We were good friends. And one day he just came up to me. He's like, "Hey, can we talk about?" I'm like, oh my! Like I got it right away why he was, he wanted to talk, and I'm just like, dude, I'm so sorry. Like I don't like you in that way. But you're a great friend, and I like you as a friend. So I don't know if that's supportive, but I don't know. I think if you're not interested, sometimes just to say that, but also say, all the positive things as I know you would about your friend too. Like, hey, look, I really like you as a person. It doesn't take that me not liking you does not take away from that. Or if you like her, I mean, that's a whole nother thing. Hmm. Let's see here. Bofo Des says, in my experience, my parents stopped caring too much about my grades. Yeah. Parenting is an interesting thing. I think it's a balance. I think, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Asher says, you are you, and that's all you can be. And I think you guys pretty great. So, yeah, nice. Did I ever answer, Vespertinus, did I ever answer your question? Would I ever raise a child in such a competitive environment like the Bay Area? Would I raise a child in that environment? I would prefer not to. Yeah, I would prefer not raising a child in such a competitive environment. Like, life to me, look, it all depends on your own values. For me, life isn't about being the best, being the smartest. Life is, in my opinion, about being a good person and just being happy and enjoying it and doing the things that you love. That does not require going to Ivy League school and getting straight A's, 5.0 GPA. Not required. So that's my thought. And a lot of Asian parents would completely disagree with me, and that's okay. Everyone lives, has their own perspective. But that's me. And I've seen it straight up. And just because you go to an Ivy League school, just because you make, $500,000 a year being a doctor does not mean you are happy. There's a lot of people who go to Ivy League schools and they're depressed. Yeah, so that's my thought. And I think that's something that I believe parents get to realize, that money does not buy complete happiness. Money is only a piece of the equation. And I think I'd much rather my child do something that they're passionate about and be making less than focus on money. So yes. Do I look at memes? Not very often. Alrighty. Justin, enjoy watching Lakers game. I hear tonight is a pretty big benchmark for LeBron James on the scoring list. Yeah. Let's see. Asher says, I just found out my mom looks at your Facebook feed on a regular basis and I'm just shook. Wait, what? Mine? My Facebook feed? That's funny. Let's see. Edgar says, if she focuses on like what side classes like art can help her on a workplace. Oh, thank you, Asher. I appreciate you. I'm so glad that you're here. Thank you for your support for everyone in this community. And this is why you deserve to be mod. Knuckle says, I'm going to leave because I want to live stream my software. If you want to join my stream, you don't have to. Thank you. Enjoy. I will probably not, because I get to wrap up my night soon on my side. Yes. Edgar says she can change her parents' minds by doing research on what she likes and wants to do. Yes, and I think that is a challenging thing to do, especially with very traditional Asian parents. But I mean, that's kind of how I did it too. Like, how did I change my mom's mind? My mom was a really hard mind to change. But I'm also grateful. Like, my mom's not like all moms. My mom learned to be more open-minded. But at first, she was super opposed to this whole idea of me, quitting my stable job and starting my own business. She's like, no, Richard, go get a real job. So, yeah. Vespertina says, Richard, Pepsi or Coke? I'm going to go with water. Yum, yum. I love my water. I don't drink soda. But if I had to choose, I would go with Coke. Yes. Alrighty. I don't want to be creepy, but do you mind if I ask how old you are? Sure, gotcha. I'm back. I'd rather not say my age. Okay, cool. Good stuff. Yeah, Emmanuel, what's up? From Scandinavian. Yeah, what's up? It's been a while since we've had some Scandinavian people on, so that's awesome. Good to have you on. Asher said, everyone say something nice about somebody in your life. I love it. You're the best. You're the best. I appreciate you so much. I like that. So yes, the last thing we're going to do on this live stream before we sign off is everyone share something nice about something, about someone in their life. So I I'm gonna choose I'm gonna choose two people right now. The two ladies in my life right now. Number one is my mom. Uh, I'm super proud of my mom. Like my mom, I used to not like being around my mom because she was very kind of had a lot of anxiety and like very like frugal and like I don't know how to explain it. But my mom has opened up so much. She's gotten over. My mom's amazing. She got past her depression. She is happy. She's taking English classes at the local community college because she wants to be a better English speaker. English is her second language, and she's just happy, and she does her best to just be happy every single day. So I huge props to my mom. Second person I want to say something positive about is my girlfriend, Christine. And she is amazing. She's super supportive. And I'm just really grateful for like just who she is and how she always keeps trying to be a better person every single day, learning and growing every single day. And yes, those are the positive things I have to say about people. And I love to hear from you, everyone else who's on. Cass says, "Love the wholesomeness in this chat." Yes, and thank you all. Thank you for being part of this wholesomeness and contributing to it. Yes, and I do want to kind of give like a quick little note. So right now, we have our humble numbers of people online, which is great. Like I love this core community of people who are always on. You all are great. You all are very positive, and my encouragement, there will be some times where I go to a school, and if you've been here long enough, you know this, where I go to school, and then all of a sudden we have like plus 30 people in the chat because of a presentation I go to. And they're going to bring in their energy. They're going to bring in maybe some trolliness or whatever. And my encouragement is to just invite them into the stream, love on them, be positive, and of course, in a way, bring them into our culture of just love and acceptance and inclusiveness. All right, so that's what I gotta say. Alrighty, here. Asher says, "My dad's been trying harder recently, and I'm proud of him." Nice. Necronor says, "I fell asleep on the stream. Your voice is soothing, Richard." Nice. Good stuff. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Matab Mirzai says, "Hi, good morning." Good morning, wherever you are in the world right now. And thank you for being here. Asher says, "I really got to go go make a Discord for Stop Dropping Game." Juicy says, "You're so nice. Like, I don't get it. I'm normally a shy guy and not normally hyped with joy." Oh, awesome. Good stuff. Okay. It is 9 p.m. here in California. And our next live stream, I don't know. I'm not gonna promise a Friday live stream yet. If I do a Friday live stream, it will be a little bit more last minute. So I'm going to say our next live stream will be on Monday, March 11th at 7:30 p.m. California time. Let's see, 10 YouTube live stream. Okay, and if we do a Friday live stream, it'll be a little bit more last minute, but aim for Monday. All right. Yes, as Asher says, remember self-care. I agree. Self-care is so important. Self-care has been a huge theme in my life this year. It is so important to self-care. And self-care means taking care of yourself. That means little things like making sure that you're taking time off, if you're feeling stressed, making sure you're sleeping, making sure you're eating well, exercising, making sure you're just loving yourself. And that's not in a conceited way like, oh, I love myself. No, it's like self-care is really about just like embracing yourself. It's like treat yourself out once in a while, you deserve it. And that's not, I think sometimes we feel like that's awkward to care for ourselves. And no, it's not. Like, we get, if you want to care about other people, you got to care about yourself first. Because if you keep caring about other people before yourself, if you keep putting other people before you, you're going to get burnt out. And I see this. This is funny. I'm thinking about my mom. Growing up, my mom never cared for herself. She always put all her care on us, her children. And that is, that's quote unquote a selfless thing to do and a very honorable thing to do. But I think the best way we can help other people is by taking care of ourselves first. So yes, self-care, self-care, self-care. Yes. And Nick, I hear you. I see you. I feel you. Uh, I do hope that you continue working through the challenges that you're working through, and continue focusing on how do I be a better person? How do I have more positive thoughts? Because your thoughts can change, and keep working at it. Okay. We can chat a little bit more on Discord, although I am probably going to call it night for tonight. Yes. And lastly, I see Matab Mirzai says, I don't have enough confidence. What shall I do? Can you please give me some tips? Let's see. Confidence is something that is built over time and practice. Okay. So be patient with yourself. If you don't feel like you're a confident person, be patient with yourself. Confidence takes time. It takes courage. It takes that courage to just do it. So, for example, if you don't feel confident to talk to a girl or a guy, your crush, whatever, whoever it is, then what you can do is practice, asking girls out, as in like just go for it. And of course, it's going to be hard. It's always going to be challenging to do it. I'll always build confidence. Love yourself more. Uh, that means taking care of yourself more, eating healthy. That means exercising. That means sleeping well. Uh, you know, giving yourself permission to have your you time first, as opposed to saying yes to everyone else. Like, hey, you want to hang out? Sometimes, what if you don't want to hang out? What if you just want your alone time? And that's what I realized for myself. I don't say yes to everyone now. Like, even my best friends, sometimes my best friends say, hey, we're doing this thing this weekend. You want to come hang out with us? And honestly, like, sometimes I'll just say, hey, look, I'll think about it. I'll see how I feel. And the last 3 times my best friends invited me to go hang out, I ended up not hanging out with them because I felt like I would be better off just taking care of myself, being by myself. So that's what I did. That's self-love. Alrighty. Juicy Goosey says, thank you so much for making these live streams. It gives me something to look forward to once in a while. Oh, and thank you for being here. I thoroughly enjoy this as well. Yes, yes, yes. Awesome. Okay. Asher says, bye-bye. Remember to take care of yourself. I love you guys, and I want to talk to you guys again. Yes. Chrysanthemum says, what are your thoughts on... I don't know what that is. Post-colonial lit theory? Wait, post-colonial, like, lit? Oh, I see. I don't have very many opinions on it, so I'm gonna abstain from that for now. Juicy Goosey says, "Can I message you on Instagram?" If you're talking to me, yes, you can DM me on Instagram. Sure. I may or may not respond depending on what I got planned today. I am going to call my girl right now. So yes. Okay. Have a good night. And if I don't see you on Friday, tentatively, I don't know if I'm going to have one there. I'll see you on Monday during our next live stream, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Have a great rest of your week, and see you soon. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye. And Juicy Goosey, I'll add you on Instagram right now.